Hey, Ms. Matias, we are live, we are streaming, we are recording. You may proceed with the public review session.
Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals review session for Monday, April 7th, 2025. Please note there is no public testimony during the review session. Also note for the record, Commissioner Shedder is joining us remotely. The following items are adjourned. 2024-38BZ, 9017 179th Street, Queens. Postponements, 2024-52BZ, 1226 Avenue V, Brooklyn. 764-56BZ, 200-05 Horace Harding Expressway, Queens. Withdrawals, 2022-7BZY, 3875 11th Street, Queens.
Okay, this is a statutory vesting case. We will be hearing the common law later on. So the applicant is proceeding with the common law and is withdrawing the statutory vesting case. So motion to withdraw.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
All right.
Commissioner Otley Brown.
Aye.
Commissioner Shedder,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been withdrawn. Decision items, item number 5, 6213BZ, 2703 East Tremont Avenue, the Bronx.
So we received a revised plan with signage notes added and also the lumen notes. And we also received a letter from the landscaper identifying the plants that will be planted. So I'm satisfied with the submission. Is everybody okay? Okay.
Okay,
So I then make a motion to approve a 5-year extension of term pursuant to pre-ZEO zoning resolution section 73-242 with the following. 243. I'm sorry. 243 with the following conditions. That landscaping shall be improved within 7 months from the date of the grant, which means pretty much this entire planting season of this year. And pursuant to the BSA approved plan and prior to obtaining a certificate of occupancy. Board is not waiving signage requirements. DOB shall review for compliance and certificate of occupancy shall be obtained within 12 months from the date of this grant. So is everybody okay with that condition? Then motion to approve.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown.
Aye.
Commissioner Shedder,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. 808-55BZ, 3504 Bell Boulevard, Queens.
Okay. Applicant made its submission and there aren't any DOB violation. And applicant also provided a timeline to obtain a CO, so it will be a no work permit that will be submitted to obtain the CO. So motion to approve. I want to make the approval for an 18-month extension of time to obtain the CO from the date of the grant.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown. Commissioner Shedder,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. 235-15A and 259-15A, Oak Cornell Lane, Queens.
This is also an extension of time. Applicant provided documents showing that there is no violation. So motion to approve this extension of time. Hold on. Right. No.
No
regular.
term.
No time, exactly. Yeah.
Chair Shonda,
Yeah, but I do want to have one condition, and the condition is that the restrictive deck and the BSA calendar number shall be included in any TCO that is going to be
and
issued.
CVO and the.
CO, of course, it
Yeah.
has to be, but the TCO also, because the TCO that is currently there does not include the restrictive deck number or the calendar, BSA calendar number. Those should be included going forward in all TCOs and definitely on COs.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown. Aye. Commissioner Shedder,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. 50880 BZ 6220 14th Avenue, Brooklyn.
Okay, so we received all the sign-offs for the tech memo with conditions. Applicant has also made revisions to its plans to address the environmental conditions. So following are the environmental condition. The conditions are an E designation has been placed on the zoning map pursuant to zoning resolution section 11-15 of the zoning resolution for the subject property. Further hazardous material assessment should be coordinated through the Mayor's Office of Environmental Remediation. The eastern facade shall provide a minimum 28 dBA window wall attenuation. The northern and southern facade within 50 feet of the eastern facade shall also provide a 28 dBA window wall attenuation. A closed window condition and alternate means of ventilation shall be provided. Building mechanical system will be designed to meet all applicable noise regulations and requirements, including subchapter 524-2 to 7 of New York City Noise Control Code, the New York City Building Code. The proposed enlargement will use electric power heating and air conditioning system. The existing hot water vent will remain 30 feet from the proposed enlargement. HVAC type shall comply with applicable laws and regulations as determined by DOB and other relevant agencies. So with that, I want to make a motion to approve with additional conditions. And the conditions would be that fireproof closing doors shall be installed on second floor as shown on the BSA approved plan. There shall be an FPSC door in the corridor leading to the new stair on the second floor, an area of a rescue for occupants of the premises, and a 6-foot wide firefighter access way on the roof between the fence and parapet wall along 63rd Street as illustrated on the board approved plan. Play roof fence shall have a 10-foot steel post frame with a 2-layer acoustic barrier. The barrier shall consist of 2 layers of acoustic fence as manufactured by Acoustic Block Inc. or similar. The roof shall have no sound amplification device and the lighting shall not exceed the building code mandated minimum.
So for the motion to approve, Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. Item number 9, 2024-84 BZ 161 Emerson Place, Brooklyn.
This is an extension of time, so motion to approve. There was no submission requirement.
Yes, no.
So motion to approve a 4 years extension of time from the date of the grant.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. 2024-46A 3875 11th Street, Queens.
This is the vesting in case for under common law. So motion to approve.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown, Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. Item number 10, 2024, sorry, we did that one already, sorry. Item number 11, 2024-36 BZ 26 City Island Avenue, the Bronx.
Okay, we have received revised plans and the applicant is proposing in-ground planting instead of planter boxes. And the landscaping detail for in-ground planting has been provided and including details with regarding fence, signage, curb cuts, all of that has been provided. So I was very satisfied with the submissions. So if everybody is okay, I want to make a motion to approve with following conditions. Conditions being that signage shall comply with underlying zoning requirements. In-ground planting shall be provided and maintained as per BSA approved plan. A 6-foot high PVC fence shall be installed along the lot lines as per BSA approved plans. Any lighting provided in the off-street parking area shall be directed away from residents.
Motion to the Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown.
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Granted. Item number 12, 2024-42 BZ, 2031 Eastern Parkway Extension, Brooklyn.
Okay, we are almost there. We are still waiting for sign off on noise, air quality, and from parks regarding shadow. So I would recommend that we second call it for tomorrow,
Second call Tuesday.
towards the end of the day, end of the hearing. And if not, then we should hold, we will schedule it for May. But I'm hoping by tomorrow we will have everything.
Okay. Special order calendar, continued hearing items, 328-53 BZ, 3424 East Tremont Avenue, the Bronx.
Just give me a second. So we had to open the case because we did notice, despite the initial notarized letter that was submitted by the operator, that there was still U-Haul operation occurring on the site. And I did go to the U-Haul's website, and the site is still listed as one of the locations where one can rent trucks from. So when this was brought to the applicant's attention, the applicant proceeded with providing another notarized affidavit stating that there will be no U-Haul commercial vehicles or vehicles for sale parked on the site. And the site operator also will be attending today's public hearing, so we want to hear. I do have to say, board at the last meeting had stated that the U-Haul use had to be terminated now prior to any decision board takes. And so before any decision board takes, all of these operations have to cease to operate on the site for board to make a decision. Vice Chair Shabeta.
I have nothing further to add.
Thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown.
I agree with you that we should vote until we have proof of discontinuance of all.
Sorry, Commissioner Otley Brown, we can't hear you on the recording.
Sorry, I said, I agree with you, Chair, that we shouldn't vote until we have proof of discontinuance of all three of those items.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Sheta.
I agree with you, Chair. And I would even go further because of the history of this back and forth regarding the U-Haul. Even if we see that use is discontinued on the website, I would suggest that we add a condition that having unauthorized activities such as U-Haul may result in voiding the grant if we do a grant at all. So it's like a serious matter now. If Mr. Owner, Mr. Manager, if you play a game with us, you're gonna lose. I would make it like that.
Arlo has his hand raised up. I'm sorry, Commissioner Yoon first.
Let me go to Commissioner Yoon and then our Executive Director. Commissioner Yoon.
I have nothing further to add.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Costanza.
Yes, Madam Chair, I think in response to Dr. Sheeta's suggestion of a condition, is this something that the board would want some sort of declaration or something?
Let's discuss that. I would like to discuss this with our council on this, and we can present it at the public hearing.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I only brought it up as a matter of time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Move on.
Okay, thank you.
348-51 BZ, 8820 Astoria Boulevard, Queens.
Sorry. So based on board's comments from previous hearing, applicant has revised the statement of facts and also the plan. With regards to the revised plan, while I still need clarification because the material as proposed for the fence has been corrected, but it's not consistent. Because when I see the cover letter states that a 6-foot high chain link fence with shading fabric at the rear lot line will be provided. The plan shows chain link fence with open slats. So applicant should clarify which one of that is going to be proposed. Regarding, I think at the last hearing, we were going back and forth as to where the air pump and the vacuum and the EV charging station should be located so that it does not hinder any vehicular movement and also block sidewalk from and impede pedestrian flow. So based on that, the applicant has kind of consolidated all of these three operations on one of the parking spaces, which would serve dual purpose of EV and also air pump and vacuum machine for use of air pump and vacuum machine. And it is set away from the lot line. So therefore they should prevent any vehicles from encroaching onto the sidewalk and therefore should not be blocking the entryway to the gas station. And also a note needs to be added to the plan that with regards to the mechanical system on the roof, that appropriate measures shall be taken to meet the applicable noise regulations as required per New York City Noise Control Code. I think we saw a similar condition that was there, so I don't want to create a new one. Maybe we can provide a standard language for the applicant with regards to the noise code. I was kind of using the one that we saw on a previous grant. This was, we just approved it. This is the 50880, I think.
Okay.
So something similar to that we can kind of use. Apart from, also regarding the removal of the existing curb cut and widening of the existing curb cut on 89th Street, the note, there should be a note added to the plan stating that the restoration of the curb and extension of the curb shall be pursuant to an approved builder's pavement plan and built to DOT standards. Those are my comments. Otherwise, I'm satisfied with this application. With these minor changes, I think the application should be ready to close.
I just want to know if they also moved the masonry trench
Yeah.
enclosure.
Oh, yes, yes. Thank
to
you. Yes.
89th Street, which is one
Yeah.
of the things that we requested.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Commissioner Otley Brown.
I have no additional questions.
Commissioner Sheta.
Thank you, Chair. I echo your comments. I have nothing further to add.
Thank you. Commissioner Yang.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Okay, next case.
Next case, 26367BZ 108-02 Otis Avenue, Queens.
Okay, so we did receive a community board recommendation. It is a recommendation to approve. Applicant has revised the existing and the proposed plan, and notes have been added to the plan stating that the curb cuts will be removed. And with that removal of the curb cut, there would be this would provide access to the ADA lift to the cellar, and also to allow for that accessibility, the on-site parking that was provided will be removed. The applicant should prepare a draft builder's pavement plan for the elimination of the two curb cuts. Just a note stating that the curb cuts shall be removed is not adequate. In addition, add a note to the plan stating that the curb cut shall be restored to the DOB approved builder's pavement plan and built to DOT required standards. Applicant has clarified the use group for that vacant storefront. It would be another eating and drinking establishment. I think the larger question the board had was with regards to the signage. Applicant has provided the signage analysis, but I still think it did not calculate everything. Now, based on the existing signage information, I believe there is excess signage, especially illuminated sign on Otis Avenue and Van Cleef Street frontage, which the applicant acknowledges and is requesting an amendment to allow for excess illuminated sign on these frontages. Since the board did not waive any signage at the last hearing. I also think the existing signage, the non-illuminated signage are exceeding what would be permitted because the analysis did not consider banners, flags, signage within the building wall. All of these are facing are visible. So, and not all of them are accounted. So if the board were to consider making an amendment to the plan, which is allowing for the excess signage, both illuminated and non-illuminated. My questions are this. Regarding the illuminated signage, are the illuminated signage, do they stay on 24/7 or all throughout the night? I want to know what is the business operation to which this sign is tied to, hours of operation. That is, with regards to all these accessory additional signs, I think this is kind of adding to a very cluttered frontage. And this is the portion of the street, especially along the Van Cleef portion. It is abutting all residential uses. So at most, each operation should have one permitted sign and no more than that, and remove all the all the additional signage. That would be my recommendation, but I do want to hear from other board members. Vice Chair Shibata.
I agree with your comments. I have nothing further to add.
Commissioner Otley Brown.
I agree with your comments as well. I have no additional questions.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Sheta.
Thank you, Chair. I second your comments. I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Yoon.
Thank you. I agree. Nothing further from me.
Okay.
Next item, 13292BZ, 3948 Amboy Road, Staten Island.
Okay. So applicant has provided its response to the comments that were raised at the last hearing and is requesting removal of board's condition. I think the way it's stated, I think the applicant is requesting removal of board conditions regarding extension of time to obtain the CO term, which expired on October 22, 2023. Because the way the text reads, it says application to amend the term of the variance under 7221 for use group 8 banquet hall and use groups 7 commercial office building, which expired on July 19, 2024, and an extension of time to obtain a certificate of occupancy, which expired on October 22, 2023. Now, we do know now these two uses are permitted as of right, and the building is located entirely within the commercial portion where this use is permitted. The variance is now only restricted to the portion of the portion of the parking lot, a very small portion of the parking lot that is in the residential district. So the board's purview is limited to the parking lot. So I'm fine with removing the extension of time to obtain CO related to the building. But unless I'm confused with the way it's stated. I'm reading it correctly.
I thought they wanted the extension of term removed. They wanted the term of the variance removed.
I'm okay with that also in this case. Partly because the amount of parking space that we're looking at, it's extremely minimal.
It's only
And
residential.
entirety of it is in the, most of it is in the C1, and remaining portion of it is in the bed of Map Street. So and that's also along on the Amboy Road frontage. So I'm okay with removing that. If that's the understanding, I'm okay with removing both the extension of time to obtain CO because it's for the building itself and the term also. Yeah. Yeah. I think it is, but it just was kind of not clear way it was written, so that's why I would, sorry, Vice Chair Shibata.
Nothing further.
Okay. Commissioner Otley Brown,
I have no problem with the elimination of term of variance for the parking.
Commissioner Sheta,
Thank you, Chair. Since the variance now is just related to the parking, I'm okay with eliminating the term. Thank you.
Commissioner Yoon,
Thank you. I'm okay with eliminating the term.
and I just want to be clear, we're doing this because it's a very small portion of the entire parking lot that is in the R2. The entire parking lot is predominantly in the C portion. So I don't want this to set a precedent for everybody to come and seek term waiver for a parking lot that might be entirely or significantly within a residential district. Okay.
Item number 17, 15603, 12715 BZ, 13535 Northern Boulevard, Queens.
Okay, sorry, I have a lot of notes on this from previous hearings. So applicant has revised the proposal, and even though we had asked for a further reduction of the FAR, but I think this is a pretty reasonable outcome of what the board was looking for. And what the applicant is proposing, it's retaining the same number of residential dwelling units that was previously granted, which is 269. So the applicant is not proposing to increase the number of units to 275. It's keeping the same amount of number of dwelling units. And the FAR also remains the same, 7.5 FAR. The only change would be an addition of one floor, which would increase the building height by about 9 feet from the previous grant. And also the open space waiver increases. However, in this case, I strongly believe the configuration of this building really results in a better building design, which is less imposing on the tower that is fronting on Northern Boulevard and is also respectful of the historic nature of the RKO Theater. So I think this increase in open space to allow to retain the FAR and the number of units, it's a pretty reasonable swap in my mind. In addition, the applicant is not proposing, is not requesting a parking waiver because it is providing more than the required amount of accessory parking on the site. So I think this is a pretty reasonable exchange of waivers. So and applicant has provided a financial statement where the applicant is stating that there won't be any change in the sellable area, but I want to hear what Commissioner Otley Brown has to say. Overall, I would say I'm very satisfied with this application, and it really does not, these changes do not change the prior board findings. I would also say at the same time that that any future modifications that would be considered on this site, it should be considered as a new variance with a new financials, because we did make a big concession in this round because of the prior board, but it will end here. And any future modifications should be considered as a new application. Increases especially. Decreases, no, I don't think so, but increases, absolutely. Yeah. Commissioner, Vice Chair Shibata, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Chair. I was satisfied with the new, their new submission. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown.
as this is really a swapping out of waivers between the approved number of units now, instead of having an additional request, they're actually giving back on the approved units exceeding the original number, and they actually no longer need a parking waiver. I'm okay with this application. As for the financials, between this financial and the financial that was submitted just before this, the change in the number of units and the unit mix does not have a major effect on the feasibility, as the sellable floor area remains the same. So I'm satisfied, but I agree with you that any future amendments calling for an increase of the waivers granted by this board should be a brand new application that conforms to our directions in how we want the financials written up.
So this would be any increase in units and or FAR, building height,
Or a major change in use.
or major change in use, right? Thank you. Commissioner Shetta,
Thank you, Chair. Nothing further from me.
Commissioner Yoon.
Thank you. I have nothing to add.
Okay.
Item number 18, 2024-31 BZ, 166 North 12th Street, Brooklyn, Queens.
Don't do that. So at the last hearing, board had directed the applicant to retool the variance application to vary zoning resolution section 54-52, which is the accessibility or safety retrofit, and a rear yard and a lot coverage waiver to address the A finding. We also received a revised DOB objection sheet, and I again want to thank our general counsel for suggesting this this way of approaching the variance, specifically for this particular nonprofit use, where its use is primarily around accessibility, the design of the building, the use of the building. So I think this is a very good solution, and I want to thank the applicant for preparing a very good application. I was very satisfied to read the statement of fact, and they did a pretty good job of briefing the reasons for the waiver of zoning resolution of 5452. So I just kind of I think if we are not familiar with 5452, there are three aspects of 5452. It says you can, provided like the enlargement of that it does not exceed the maximum permitted FAR. In this case, we know the waiver that is sought is not an increase in FAR. The required open space and the yard. The existing building is a lot line building with a 95% lot coverage, and the proposed project will not be increasing any of the lot coverage. It would retain that same footprint, so it does not. The only place where it does not meet the elements of 5452 is the permitted height limit. And the permitted height limit is to a 1-story or 15 feet, whichever is less. And the existing building is a 2-story building that is 29 plus foot high, and it exceeds 15-foot height limit of the zoning section. Now, we do also know per zoning resolution, permitted obstruction in the rear yard is permitted up to a height of 23 feet or 1-story, whichever is less for a community facility use. Now, both the existing and the proposed building will partially encroach this permitted obstruction height in the rear yard, and that is because to allow for a very accessible building and a program that is driven by the by accessibility. So, so the proposal would encroach. The proposed building would encroach the rear yard permitted obstruction by a height of 8 foot 9 inches. And if it were the permitted building and that could have been enlarged, it would have enlarged by about 2 foot by 2 foot 7 inches. The applicant also cited prior BSA cases where board considered unique site conditions in conjunction with programmatic need. I think this is something the board had asked the applicant to look at. Applicant did look into that, and I found the submission very thorough in that case. It listed, I actually found the BAM case very helpful in supporting this evidence. That is, in that the board had found that the limitations and the inefficiencies of the existing building, coupled with the programmatic need of BAM, satisfy the uniqueness requirement of 7221. I won't go through the other one because I'm satisfied with all of the cases that were cited to justify the argument for finding A. And so I'm very satisfied with that. With regards to finding C, in keeping with the residential character, I just want some minor notes to be added to the plan. And that is indicate the proposed height of the opaque acoustic fence, screen, and material on the third floor to shield the mechanical units on the roof in the rear. And also wanted to know if there will be any gatherings occurring on this roof. There shall be no noise amplification permitted on this roof, at this roof level. And also lumen level should be really kept to a minimum per DOB standards. It should be really for emergency purpose. I think with these additional changes, it would meet the findings of C, and I don't think we have any issues with D or E, therefore. Yeah. Vice Chair Shibata.
Thank you, Chair. I found the submission to be thorough and compelling, and I'm eager to close this matter.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown?
I think that the arguments for the uniqueness finding are far stronger in this case, and so I'm ready to support it. But I do have one question because I was looking and I couldn't find it. In terms of for their proof of the structural instability and obsolescence, they make reference to the Silman report and they quote a statement from there, but I didn't find the Silman report.
It was
Where
part of
is
the
it?
original submission.
I thought I looked through the original submission and couldn't find it, but I'll look.
Okay, all
Okay,
right.
that's all I wanted to know because I wanted to be able to look through it myself.
Okay,
But it seemed like a far better application now because they strengthened their A finding.
okay.
Ms. Prenga's hand.
Yeah, I was going to ask Ms. Prenga to just send that copy again. Yes, Ms. Prenga?
Oh, it has a name, the file name is called Existing Conditions Report. Maybe that's why, the commissioner couldn't locate it, but they called it Existing Conditions Report, but it is created by Silman. I'll send it over. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Commissioner Shetta?
Thank you, Chair. I was satisfied with the submission. I believe it's very responsive. The other thing is, yes, I did see the report, Silman report, and I did read it. I did actually provide a comment on it.
Right.
Yeah, and regarding, I just want to add one thing. They actually submitted further. They submitted the programmatic needs revised with adding a reference to the new variance identification. And if you give me 10 seconds. Not sure if you see my screen here.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the Silman report. It's, yes, like Ms. Brenga said, it's called existing condition report, but the preparer of this report is Silman, and it's kind of a structural evaluation for the existing building. Thank you.
Yeah, I think at the initial hearing, we were quite convinced from
Yes.
with the report.
Yes,
There was
this-
the wall that was bulging out and
this one. Yes.
one, yeah.
Here. Yeah. Yeah, and here too.
Yeah.
It's very clear that the building is in very bad condition, and I did urge them to make sure that they sure it if needed, to make sure that it doesn't impose any danger to public properties or the general public.
So short the building until it's ready to be demolished.
Yeah, until who knows, maybe they're gonna demolish it tomorrow, maybe they're gonna demolish it in a year. So just, it's kind of a disclaimer for us to make sure that we said it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I was satisfied with this application. I just had a question. Your question on the roof use was for the main roof or the third floor?
The main, sorry, I mean the roof above the theater, so that would be the third floor, right?
Okay, where there's a terrace.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the terrace that extends all the way into the rear yard. The roof that's on the fifth floor, that's an as-of-right roof.
Yeah, and there's no they
Right,
mentioned there
and
would be no
yeah, and I
occupation
don't
of
think
the-
our conditions should be on that, because that's an as-of-right operation. I want to limit our conditions to that third floor, second floor, but it's that
I believe it's
over
the
the theater.
third floor, yeah.
It is a third floor, right? Yeah.
I just wanted to, I did not hear you the first time. Okay, I have nothing further to add.
Okay, thank you.
This concludes the review session for April 7th, 2025. We'll resume in 10 minutes.
Yes. Okay, you want to make it 15?
Yeah, that's fine.
15 minutes.
Mine is.
All right, we'll resume in 15. It's 10:45, so we'll resume at 11 o'clock.
Thank you, Jeff. Good. Come on, everybody's microphone on? Okay, good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals public hearing for April 7th, 2025. The first item up is special order calendar to continued hearing items. Item number 13, 32853 BZ.
Okay, I just let Mr. Ash in. I don't know who else from his team
Let me get,
will be attending.
those attendees. Is there anyone else, Mr. Ash, joining your team?
There is supposed to be, yes.
The owner, right?
Yeah.
Who?
Yes.
What is their name?
I don't see them in the,
Harun, I see Harun Rashid.
Is
If-
that one of your people?
if the owner is here, can he raise his hand?
Can you let us know his name? It's Harun? I'm sorry. Mr. Ash, the name of the person joining you?
I'm looking to see the names.
You have the latest affidavit. The affidavit has names of the three operators. I'm not able to open it.
Oh, I don't,
I'm looking now. Yeah, Harun Rashid is one of them.
Harun Rashid is one of them.
Yeah, and there are other two who had signed the affidavit. Who are the other two?
Dewan Khan and Islam Mohammed.
Yeah, they're not.
I don't see Diwan Khan or Muhammad.
I
Yeah.
believe that Harun is representing for,
Okay. Got to come in, Mr. Rashid.
I think I let him in, yeah, Harun Rashid.
Mhm.
you're on mute, Harun.
I'm Muhammad too.
There you go, okay,
Muhammad Islam. Yeah.
yes.
Okay, please identify yourselves. There are two people in the camera.
Yeah. On Harun and Muhammad. Muhammad Islam. Yeah.
Say it once more time.
Harun and Muhammad Islam.
Okay,
Okay, thank you. Okay. So please raise your right hands. Raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Yes. I do.
Okay, please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
I'm Daniel Ash from Walter Gorman Engineering. And you already met Harun Rashid and Islam Mohammed. They're the dealers for 3424 East Tremont, the site that we're speaking about. I did hear the board's comments earlier. We've been speaking extensively with the management global that runs the gas station, as well as these gentlemen who are the actual managers, about all the things that they're not allowed to do on site. Not to have U-Haul, not to have commercial vehicle storage, and not to have cars for sale. And they produced that affidavit that was given to the board last week, indicating that they're aware of it, and I'll let them speak for themselves right now. There was some miscommunication earlier because of having multiple dealers and not knowing who was responsible for what. But I want them to now let you know that they're sorry for what happened before and that they understand going forward what they're responsible for.
okay, Mr. Rashid, the board, the use that is operating on this site is not permitted. It is permitted only because the board is allowing it. And board is allowing only certain types of use to be operating on this site. So if there is any operation that is happening on this site that is not pursuant to board's approval, then the board has the right to deny any extension of this project and can terminate the business operation on this site. So you have to make all your operation on this site to comply with what the board has approved. And that means you cannot have the U-Haul operation on this site. You cannot have commercial vehicles of any type parked on the site, and nor can you sell used cars or any kind of cars on that, from that site. So that, those were things that were not granted by this board, and it will not be granted by the board. In your affidavit, you said you will make the changes. However, the action that is before us is to grant, this is an extension of,
It's an amendment.
this is an amendment, right? So we will only allow for proposed amendment only after when all these operations that are operating not consistent with the board's approval from operating on the site. You have to clear out all of these operations from your site. And it can never be, if we ever see it even on our site visits, later on, after we grant it and you think you can bring them back because nobody's seeing, we do see, because we do drive around the neighborhood. And when we do see it, we will call it for compliance and we can even shut the business down. So I want to be very clear with Mr. Ash and with your operators, Mr. Rashid and Mr. Islam, that this operation, you have to clean it up and make it consistent with what the board grant is, was all about. So I'm not going to close this case, and nor am I going to have the board vote on this case until you make sure, give us a complete, clear guideline, meet all our requirements. That is, remove all these operations from the site immediately.
Yes, yeah, we need.
At a time, please.
One at a time.
Yeah, we did clear already. We don't have any more U-Haul, we don't have any more parking. We don't have anything in the side business right now. We are closed already. All is clear.
Well, the photo that was submitted, it shows there are U-Haul operations.
No, we
That
don't
was
have.
from, Madam Chair, that was from the previous hearing. I think since that point. there's-
Let me put it this way. This weekend, I went to the U-Haul site, and this site is still listed. So you may have cleared it out, but the U-Haul operation still recognizes this site as a site where U-Haul trucks can be dropped off. So you have to remove your site from the U-Haul operation.
Okay, we'll do that, But I don't know if that they're still on the website, but we don't have any more whole business. So we're gonna call them for the move this.
You will remove, because you have to, and you have to provide a document stating you have made that request and it has been approved. And I'm going to wait until when I'm ready to see the site completely clear of all of these operations. So you're just delaying your approval process by doing this, just so you know, and you're spending more time paying Mr. Ash to represent you throughout this period. So just know that. Okay. So you have to take care of this and make the submissions immediately.
Chair,
Based on that, we will schedule a hearing.
So you want a letter or some proof from?
Chair?
We want proof.
That-
We
that-
want a proof.
that
A
the
letter is
site
not,
continuous.
letter is not sufficient because the first notarized letter that was sent, it said, we have removed it. And then we noticed it was still being operated.
Right.
For U-Haul. So there's no weightage to this affidavit. So I'm not going to rely on an affidavit anymore. You have to carry it out in an action and provide the proof of documentation. Okay?
Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
yeah, just wanna note it for the record that I just went to Google and I Googled the U-Haul at the address of the premises, subject application. And I did put like a trial booking, and it shows me that there is an availability there. So that means that it's still actively listed on U-Haul service. Just wanted to notate that. The other thing is, if you look at the language in the affidavit, and this is for Mr. Ash, that language itself is not actually correct. It says, we fully understand and agree that the following activities will not take place. And then it says no U-Haul, no commercial vehicle parking. It should, if you're listing the activities that will not be accepted or will not take place, then remove the no's. It should be U-Haul, commercial, vehicle for sale. These are the activities that shouldn't take place or wouldn't take place on that subject premises. Thank you.
We are going to put together, I mean, we have some time to think about how we want the conditions to be placed, but I'm going to make this a very tight condition and we'll put a limit on the term. Because I do want to have a compliance follow-up on this. Even though this is an amendment, I want to make sure it is operating. Yeah. And even though the amendment was to erect a new canopy, and you have opened up a completely new set of issues associated with it. Okay, any other questions or comments? Any clarification, Mr. Rashid or Mr. Islam, you need from us?
Oh. So we don't know, you want to give me the, any time for apply, or are you gonna grant it or no? I don't know.
Only when you provide, okay. You have to take care of it immediately. It's not like in a year's time. We are going to schedule this for hearing. When should we do this? May? 2nd May? Yeah, we have a hearing coming up second half of May. And by that time, the entirety of this site has to be completely cleared out. There should be, a U-Haul site should not have your site listed at all, ever in future. And all these other operations. And so we need documents of the proof that these uses have been removed, photos provided. And meantime, we will continue to monitor the site. We will keep going to the site and check if you are really doing what you're doing. And then we will have a hearing in May, second half of May.
Okay, thank you. We do everything, okay? We promise.
Yeah.
Definitely all of them clear. Please, we are.
If you really stop the activity of U-Haul, I would urge you to talk to U-Haul themselves and ask them, if I stop the activity there, why, if I'm going to the website, I still see my location listed active for service, and have him remove that from their website.
Yeah, Commissioner Sheda, it's probably that they think by not having it on their site, subject site is good enough, but they were not advised properly to have to remove the operation from the U-Haul website also. Now we have made that clear.
Yeah.
So you have to remove your operation from the U-Haul website.
Okay, we do.
And make sure nobody parks, no U-Haul vehicles, no other commercial vehicles are parking on your site. It is not permitted. Otherwise, if you want it, it's a complete new application that will have to be brought to the board for seeking a variance to allow for these operation. And that is a very difficult task for you to achieve. And it requires a lot more rigor and analysis and review that will cost you a lot more. So if you want that operation, they can be legalized, but it is a big order and I cannot promise that the board will go for it. So you have to be responsible and you have to follow what the board has given you direction to do.
Okay, we agree. We are clear everything, please.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, let's go to the public.
Okay, the case that we're currently discussing is 32853 BC, 3424 East Tremont Avenue of the Bronx. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. Press at the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number 1609938242 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
And as Commissioner Shetta pointed out, I want an affidavit that clearly states that the applicant agrees to not conduct any business with U-Haul and including not citing its business operation on the U-Haul site in going forward. And no commercial vehicles. Okay?
Get you a printout from U-Haul showing that it's not there anymore, as well as an affidavit.
Right, and that in future, there shall be no reconnecting back with U-Haul, the website either. Right, you need to have that in the affidavit also. It's not just clearing out the site of physically of
I'm
U-Haul.
sorry, I meant the website, not the physical site.
Yeah, it's physical and the virtual.
One has raised their hands, so hold in.
Okay, we will call this for continued hearing for May 19th. Thank you.
Your submission date would be May 1st, Mr. Ash.
Thank
Well,
you.
on this one, I will accept till,
Oh, okay,
no, actually, no, May 1st it is. Yeah, it has to be done quickly.
submission date will be May 1st.
May 1st. By May 1st, you have to address everything. And hearing will be on
May 19th.
May 19th.
Next item, 348-51BZ, 88-20 Astoria Boulevard, Queens. This is Mr. Canzada.
Yes. Sorry. I let Mr. Mr.
Mr. Rashid, you may leave.
We can remove him.
Yeah, you can remove him. Can I just mention before we go to Mr. Canzada, Mr. Tuck, we've already voted on your case, so you don't have to stick around for 6-2-13. And Mr. DeSantos, we will set a new hearing date for your postponed case. So you gentlemen can bounce out of remove yourselves from the waiting room. Hi, Mr. Canzada, how are you, sir?
Good morning.
Morning. So, anyone else joining you?
I think I see Zaman Shanto also.
Hello, good morning.
And let me swear you both in. Raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, please state your names for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Okay, Nasir J. Khamzada, I'm the applicant. And my name is Zaman Shanto, and I'm the associate.
Okay.
Proceed to respond to the board's comments.
Okay, we saw the comment from the board, we heard them, and then there's the three comments. Basically, the fence replace wording fabric, that's a mistake. It's all opaque vertical slots. And number two was to make sure we comply the mechanical noise code for the repair work we're doing. We'll put that note on the drawing. Number two. Yes, so AC unit also, you want the board wants the noise barrier around it. We'll comply with that. We put on the drawing. And the number third was the open BPP approval. We will do that, and all the curb cuts are within DOT requirements and standards. So we don't have problem. We will still put the note on the drawing that all curb cut must be as per DOT standards. So those are the three comments we have from board.
And that a builder's pavement plan shall be approved and submitted and approved prior to.
Yeah, yes, we will put a note on the drawing, but it's already agreed with the building department that every time we do major renovation, BPP always comes in. So it will be part of the job anyway, but we will have a note on the drawing, so just to make it clear.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And sorry for the mistake for the fence. We have a wording say fabric, but it was opaque vertical slots.
Okay, I just wanted to be, I wanted to be clear in terms of what was on the plan is what you were proposing. Any other questions? Right. Let's go to the public then.
So the case that we're currently are you okay? So the case that we're currently discussing is 34851BZ 88-20 Astoria Boulevard, Queens. Should you wish to comment on this case, dial 669-254-5252. The prompt, you will enter the Deborah ID number 160-993-8242 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone, and if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
So how much time will you need to make these corrections to the plan?
Yeah, we'll correct today. That's no problem. It's just the notes we have to put on the drawing. The first hearing will take it.
Okay. We have a pretty big agenda for May 5th. I would suggest, I'm going to make a recommendation that we close it and we schedule it for decision for May 19th.
Yeah.
And May 19th submission is May 1st.
Quick thing. So is the statement incorrect and the plans are correct, or vice versa?
Statement is correct. It's the cover letter. The plans are correct. The cover letter was incorrect.
Okay, so he needs to revise.
Yeah, the only thing that needs to be corrected in the plan as the note with regarding the noise and that builder space.
Okay. It's done. Okay,
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kanzada
okay.
and Mr.
Thank you.
Yeah, motion to close. Sorry, motion to close. To close.
Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yu.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, board. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item number 15-263-67BZ 10802 Otis Avenue, Queens.
This would be Alexia.
Yeah.
Yes. Is there anyone else from your team?
No, it's just myself this morning.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Please state your name for the record and please respond to the board's comments at review session.
Good morning. My name is Alexia Landisman from Sheldon, PC. On behalf of the applicant, we attended the executive session and heard the board's comments with regards to the banners and the signage on the side of the buildings. We will make sure that the banners are taken down, and we'll keep these signage to one per occupation. And then with regards to the 24-hour illumination, we're still waiting to hear back from ownership if it's illuminated for 24 hours, but we will get back to the board. I will like to note that the community had no issues with the illumination, whatever that looks like. We did get community approval. And so we will fix the signage on the site, clean it up, make it nice, and have the board and provide photos of the updated signage to the board, as well as an updated BPP. And then with that, we were hoping to close today, and then provided we provide all of the outstanding information prior to the next hearing.
So this is part of the findings of neighborhood character. So unfortunately, I don't think I can close until I fully know what the nature of the business operation is. And well, actually not the nature of the business operation. All I wanted to know, that illuminated sign that is there,
Yeah.
which is specifically for that use at the corner of Otis and Van Cleef. The signage, when I was looking at the Google sign, it seems like it was not on during the daytime. It probably is on in the evening time. My question is, what are the hours when this illuminated sign is on from? And is it on 24/7 or is it turned off when the business closes? So that's really what I want to know, because that is part of goes towards the neighborhood character finding.
Okay,
Condition it to, could we condition the hours that we would permit it to be on?
Yeah, after business hours. of course.
We can condition it, but I don't know what the business operation hours are. Is it a 24/7 operation? I don't know.
I don't believe it is. It's a grocery store. And so, hold on, bear with
But
me one.
There are some 24/7 very local.
Yes.
stores. So I need to know that. And if you can find this out, I mean, I can even second call this if you want.
That would- Actually, we're just waiting.
Yeah.
I would hate to not be able to.
I
if
will
we-
I'll
with
call it.
just simply, we can get answered. That would be wonderful.
Okay, we'll second call it. Meanwhile, find.
Chair,
business-
I'm not hearing you.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
We
We
can
can.
hear you.
Strange. I'm not hearing anyone. Bear with me one moment. Sorry.
Boy.
Alexia, can you hear me?
Can you?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so please find out what is the business hours and is the illuminated sign associated with the business hours? If not, we would like to put a condition, and I haven't discussed it. I think we should have this thing turned off after certain hours. And, I think maybe 10 o'clock.
I mean, Google says they're open 7 AM to 11 PM, which obviously the applicant needs to confirm, but we should,
Then it should be from 11 onwards.
yeah, just, it should be turned off once the store
Business-
closes.
Okay,
That's the
Or-
case. We can get that answer for you and then we can just we can close. But I'll confirm whether or not it stays open. But if not, we can definitely condition the lighting to stay off.
Oh,
If
okay.
if that's the case, then do we have to hold off on closing the hearing? I mean, the application?
that's fine. We can put a condition, and as long as the business operators know that that's a condition and they have to abide by that. That's all I care about.
Right.
That's
Okay.
what, sometimes what happens is we talk to the applicant and then the operator has not been consulted and the operator says, well, that's not how I want it. And then it comes back to us and I want to avoid that. That's why I was giving you the chance to kind of make sure the operator is okay with that.
Let's speak with the operator and we can second call this. I don't want to.
We'll do second call just to find out if that's okay. So,
Do you want to do the public?
huh?
You want to do the public now or?
Oh, we'll do the public, should we do the public now? Yeah, we should do the public now
Okay.
and we'll do a second call. Okay.
Okay. The case that we're currently discussing is 26367 BZ, 10802 Otis Avenue in Otis Avenue, Queens. Should you wish to comment on the application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 160-993-8242 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute. If you're calling in on the phone, and if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Okay.
And the boroughs, Brooklyn. Queens.
And just going back to with regards to maintaining one signage per operation, how are you going to, how is that going to be implemented?
We were planning on cleaning up the site and painting over or getting rid of some of the banners on the site and then submitting an updated photo for the board to showcase what the site looks like currently.
Okay. Okay. All right, so we would see all those revised conditions before we make a decision. Okay. And also, I think I did mention that you need to revise the note, need to add a note to the plan regarding the curb cut, that it shall be replaced pursuant to an approved builder's pavement plan and built to DOT standard.
Yes, we will make that note on the plans.
Okay.
No one is called in to raise their hands.
All right, so we will second call this at the end of all the cases.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
Next item is 13292 BZ, 3948 Amboy Road, Staten Island.
This would be Elise. Ooh, Elise, yes.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Good morning. Is there anyone else with you, Ms. Fullader? Okay, raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board, and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do. Thank you so much.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Elise Fullader from Eric Palatnik, PC. Thank you so much for your comments. I apologize if it was not clear, but I'm happy to fix the statement to make it a little bit more clear. But yeah, we were trying to ask to remove the extension of term, usually always put back a number of months for the CO. But since as you pointed out, just a very, very small piece of the parking lot that's still applicable for this variance, we'd really appreciate to remove the term, and we appreciate your comment.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments? Let's go to the public.
The case that we're currently discussing is 13292 BZ, 3948 Amber Road, Staten Island. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 160-993-8242 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press star 9 to raise your hand, star 6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Just out of curiosity, Ms. Fullader, this site
Yeah.
has been a pre-61 site. I just want to, do you remember?
I believe it was at some point, but I think they built.
Yeah, I think.
It has a long history, so let me look it up.
It has a long history.
Yeah. It was, and then there was an enlargement. Okay, the variance to permit the conversion. It was a pre-61, and then it was in 1994. It was granted a variance, a new one, to permit the conversion of a cellar from accessory storage to a banquet hall in an existing one-story and cellar commercial building with accessory parking. And it got a new variance in 1994.
Mr. Costanza?
Okay,
I'm
Executive
sorry, he's raising. his hand.
okay. Yes, go ahead.
Madam Chair, Ms. Fullader is correct. This, the filed in 92, approved in 94 was a variance pursuant to 7221, superseding the pre-1961 status.
Right, but this is a pre-existing site. It's, the site was already in the R31 portion in 1994 and even in 1959. Like the formation, the site,
of the zoning line.
the size of the zoning lot never changed. That's what I
Oh,
want.
that was the zoning law, but it has a crazy history. with
Yeah.
Different things that happened on it.
There's a reason I'm asking for that question, because as you know, Ms. Pollard, there's always a precedence, and I want to be very clear. In this case, the site, the zoning lot existed well before, and then there was a portion of the site that got rezoned to an R31, and it's a very, very small portion. It's not even the primary portion of the parking lot. So I just want us to be very clear as to
Yeah.
why we are not extending, not continuing the term in this case.
At the tax.
Continuing a term, right?
Okay, so no one has called in and raised their hands.
Yeah, okay. So motion to close?
Chair Shanda,
Aye?
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Shetta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon,
Aye. We'll schedule this for decision May 19.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you have to submit anything, it's May 1st.
Okay. Next case.
Item number 17, 15603 BZ, 12715 BZ, 13535 Northern Boulevard, Queens.
Okay.
This is
Yes.
Mr. Schnackenberg.
Yeah, I've let him in.
Okay.
Mr. Schnackenberg, is there anyone else from your team?
Don't believe anyone else from the team will be appearing unless there are questions. We are all on standby.
Okay, I see
Jessica?
Jessica there.
I'm Ms. Corus. And anyone else? No, so just let me
Okay.
put those, okay.
You just, no, okay.
What are we doing before it's? Good,
This,
we're good?
okay.
Okay, so please raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony for this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
I do.
Okay. Please state your name for the record and please respond to the board's comments at review session.
David Schnackenberg, Fried Frank Harris Shriver Jacobson for the applicant. We have no need to respond. We appreciate the board's really sort of just working with this applicant, working with this application. We're very grateful. This was a pretty complicated matter. I think that the board really helped us get where we needed to be. And so we appreciate that the board will be imposing a condition that any increase in waivers will require a new variance. We do not in any way object to that. And we just are very grateful for everyone's time. Also, in particular to Ms. Prenga, our project manager, who spent a lot of time, nights and weekends, answering emails and being incredibly helpful. So we are very grateful and thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? I actually want to thank Commissioner Otley Brown specifically for providing a very clear understanding of how the projects of this complexity needs to be analyzed, and that there are different ways of looking at it, and her creative approach has been helpful in this. So thank you.
Very much.
Let's go to the public.
The case that we're currently discussing is 15603 BZ and 12715 BZ, 13535 Northern Boulevard, Queens. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 160-993-8242 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
I I don't think there's anything that needs to be
No submission?
submitted. I'm going to recommend we close it and we will schedule this for decision on May 9th. Oh, Ms. Prenga?
We do need just a revision to the tech memo to reflect the unit count. Edit.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Prenga. So we sent some cleanup comments back as late as this morning. There was just a little nit that we noticed in one of the appendices. And so Philip Beeb's office is correcting it today. We'll have that submitted. We're fairly certain before 5 o'clock this afternoon, certainly before the end of the day tomorrow.
Okay, so you're setting them for May 5th, 6th?
I think May 19th.
Oh, May 19th? Oh, okay.
Does that work? May 19th? We have lots of cases that are closing for, so it would be a little difficult for us to get to all the decision documents.
We understand. We appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, May 19th. Right,
Okay, no one has raised their hands or called in.
again, thank you very much. You're turning these documents around in response quickly.
Thank you all very much. Good day.
Motion to close?
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta, Commissioner Otley Brown.
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Zoning calendar continued hearing items. Item number 18, 2024-31 BZ, 166 North 12th Street, Brooklyn. Okay. This is Zinfu and Alexia and who else?
We have Law in the room.
Alicia Shepherd, Alicia, sorry, not Alicia, Alice Shepherd. Sorry, Miss Shepherd. Zinfu and who else?
I believe that's everyone. Unless we have a Robert Kahn in the waiting room.
There's a Robert Kahn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Oh, he declined? Okay. So,
We can just proceed.
okay,
Oh, there he is.
is Anthony Sullivan, does he need to be there? Anthony Sullivan, does he need
He's
to?
part of the applicant team. I think we're all so excited that we all just want to participate.
Okay, all right. Talib, Amber, is Amber needed? No, I don't see
No,
Amber.
she's on standby, but I don't think she'll be needed for this.
And Katrina?
Also
Katrina,
on standby. Feel free to let her in. As I said, the whole applicant team has worked really hard and everyone's very excited about the project. So we're all here. Thank the
No,
board.
I have a couple of other names. I don't know if they're part of your team. Betsy Mack, Ellen, Barantes, John McDonald, Rudolph Garner.
I'm not familiar with any of those names, but Alice, do you recognize those people?
Yes, Elena Barantes is part of our team.
Okay.
Elena is part of your team?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, well, less is more on this
Okay.
particular. Less is much more.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so if that's it, everyone can, Mr. or Ms. Zhang, is that part of your team also? Sheng Zhang? No? Okay, fine. Okay, let's go. Everyone unmute yourselves so I can swear you in. Okay, please raise your right hand. Everyone. Affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to the board member questions.
I do.
I did.
I do.
Thank you. Okay, please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Good afternoon. My name is Alexia Landisman from Sheldon Lobel PC. I am joined by Alice Shepherd, Katrina Flora, Shin Fu, Robert Kahn, Anthony Sullivan, as part of the applicant team. And we have attended the executive session and wanted to just thank the board for their thorough review of the application. We will add the notes to the plans regarding the height of, as far as the fencing over the mechanicals. And then with regards to whether or not the third floor terrace will be used, regardless of whether or not it will be used, we will add those notes on the terrace to just acknowledge that no noise attenuation should be permitted on that terrace, as well as lumens being kept to a reasonable light. And then I believe that was really the outstanding comments for the board. We really appreciate the comments and are very happy with our submission and are very pleased that the board feels the same way. If there's any other questions before we close, we're more than happy to answer them. I'd also just love to give Alice an opportunity to say a few words before we close out the application.
I'm deeply appreciative. Sorry.
Hold on.
Sure.
I do want to get into the technicalities before. Regarding the noise, the reason I'm asking for the question as to whether there will be any gathering on the roof is because I want to find out what's the status of the environmental review, because the noise section is open. And if there is not going to be any gathering on the roof, I don't know if that changes the noise analysis. And if there is going to be gathering, and this, because it is one of the waivers, it will trigger review of the environmental, and we would need to wait for the environmental review sign off on the noise. And only after that can we vote it out. So let me first go to Ms. Benke on this. Ms. Benke? What, can you give us a status update on the environmental review?
Sure. I mean, there were conversations about the terrace noise, and the applicant was addressing them. That the project has changed since then, so there's no formal DEP review open right now.
Okay.
It was more a response to questions. So if those questions still stand, then, like you said, we would have to look at them.
Okay, so what would be the best thing? To not have any use of the roof for any gathering?
I don't want to speak for the applicant.
Okay, so I just typically, and I'm just saying this, typically what we have seen in schools, and Ms. Landesman, you know this very well, whenever there is a rear yard encroachment in the rear yard and there is a use of roof, then it typically would require some kind of review. And I'm just stating that in the interest of time, if you want to proceed with it, it will take a little bit of time to get all the ducks in the row. So I would, suggest that you do not, like, if there is, you may have the option of not proceeding. How do I put this? You may want to reconsider of using the terrace as a gathering space. If you do consider it as a gathering space, then it may require noise review, and that may delay our approval. And if you don't want to have a gathering on the roof, then we can, the decision can be sooner.
So I have just one question. If we were to decide this at, internally, and then let the board know, regardless, this would be a DEP issue, or this would be like this would be an issue that we can resolve prior to the decision hearing, but we would be able to close today upon letting you know what we decide, and then figuring out that approval once we have a chance to speak with Amber and see the extent of these studies that need to be done.
We can close today. All I want is, based on that, the notes on the plans would have to reflect that there shall be no gathering on the roof.
So I think that that's definitely a conversation we want to have internally before we address this at the public hearing. For the purposes of today, I think we would be greatly, we would greatly appreciate closing the matter, and then we would let Tracy know at a later date as far as how we'd like to proceed. And if we need to provide any kind of additional analysis on the noise, then so be it.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
That
Thank you
sounds
very much. And then before we go, I'm going to just hand it over to Alice again, I know she wanted to say a few words.
good, Shepherd.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really gathered here only to express my deep appreciation for the process, for the work that you've done to support us, and to share my joy at our future in Brooklyn, and to say that this building does bear our hopes and our dreams for a substantial and long-lasting future in New York, and to express my thanks for your support. Deeply appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You want to speak that up?
No, we certainly appreciate what you guys do.
Okay, let's go to the public then. Any other comments or questions? Okay, let's go to the public.
So the case that we're currently discussing. I'm gonna put the screen up, Travis. Jello. God, it's Monday. The case that we're currently discussing is 2024-31BZ, 166 North 12th Street, Brooklyn. Should you wish to comment on this case, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number 160-993-8242 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand in the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss. We got to pull the other one back. You're right.
No, I'm looking at the roof plan. This is.
And the 5th floor has no occupancy, right?
No, 5th floor does.
No, it doesn't.
But that's, huh?
The,
But that's
the main roof, they mentioned at the last hearing, and also it's noted on the drawings, there's no occupancy other than mechanical.
Right, and it's as of right use.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
Yeah. All work, all partition, DOT shall in compliance with applicable zoning. Okay, another note should be added to the 3rd floor plan with regards to appropriate noise measures that need to be taken around all the mechanical system.
Like baffling or something?
Yeah, because you have battery, you have mechanical, all the units at the rear. So need to make sure that there's appropriate noise measures taken. I think there's a standard language that we have used in another case. I saw that this morning. So that language should be incorporated into that plan.
Okay, so no one has called in or raised their hands?
Okay.
What do you want to do?
I then make a motion to close record open regarding environmental sign off and revisions to the plans based on the discussions we had today.
Chair Shonda?
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta?
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown?
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta?
Aye.
Excuse me, Commissioner Yoon?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All the best. Yep.
And
And we will schedule this for decision. When do we want to schedule this for decision? May 19th? May 19th. So submission date is May
5/1.
1st.
Okay,
May 1st. Okay.
okay. Alexia, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
We're ready.
Okay. Everyone else can, yeah, jump off and then we just. I'm recalling item number 15, which is 263-67 BZ, 10802 Otis Avenue, Queens. Please raise your right hand. You have to be sworn back in. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board, and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Okay. So the question was about the sign and the illumination.
Yes, so we are okay with the board condition to turn off the lights, the illumination after closing at 11 PM. I'm not sure exactly how they do it now. We're still waiting to hear back from the super of the facility, but I guess that's not really relevant as this would be a board condition. And so the owner is prepared to abide by that condition.
Okay, all right.
And then
Good.
with regards, oh, sorry, while we're here, with regards to the signage, or signage for the actual storefront, if there's an opportunity to add one additional sign on the storefront window, I'm not entirely sure how they'd like to design it, but we would submit pictures to the board prior to the decision hearing. So as it's a bigger space, there may be one sign, one sign in the window on some kind of information regarding the supermarket.
Which one? The supermarket?
Yes, exactly.
Why do you need additional signage? You already have 3 big signs on this building. There are 3 illuminated signs for the grocery store. Why do you want to put another signage at the street level?
We don't want to put another signage, but originally we had agreed that there would be one sign per occupant, but the storefront has more than one signage. I just want to make sure that that's acceptable to the board.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, that's, sorry, no, yes.
All right, yes. Luckily it has 3 frontages. So, all right, if that's okay with everybody, then motion to close, and we will schedule this also for May 19th. Does that work? May 19th? Okay.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
All right.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye. And you will send us the revised plan. Sorry.
Yes, but so May 19th, we just want to make sure that we have ample time to clear the signage and the banisters and get everything you need.
We can push it out to June.
I think that might be better just because we don't want to adjourn. We want to make sure everything is, we want to send you over photos.
Second, 16, 17?
We'll do June 16th, 17th. How about that?
Yeah.
I think that might be better,
29th.
Yeah.
just to make sure we have ample time to get everything in order.
And if you need more time to make submissions, especially of the improvements, you can submit the revised plans in time, but the improvements, you can submit it that by Friday of the
Of the hearing, of the upcoming hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No one called in or anything else. And so this concludes the public hearing for April 7th, 2025. Thank you all, one and all.
Thank you.
If you haven't heard your case, then there are still some cases on for tomorrow, April 8th. Those are Faber Terrace, Joanne Court, Sutter Avenue, and 87th Road. Those will be heard tomorrow. Thank you. Okay. Oh, 16 emails.
Oh, while we have everybody here,
We're still on.